Hey, I'm Paddy. I'm non-binary and I had top surgery last year. It's now March the 4th, and I had top surgery on November the 14th last year. Today is my first day on testosterone. It's taken about a year from kind of first contacting people to getting to this point, so I wanted to give a bit of a background on how I went about getting top surgery and eventually getting onto testrogel. My GP didn't actually know what non-binary meant, and they didn't know what the steps were. They'd never kind of treated anyone who's non-binary before, but luckily she was very open to me kind of explaining stuff to her, and she referred me to one of the gender clinics in London, which is the Tavistock one in Charing Cross. At the same time as going to my GP, I'd also contacted a few different gender clinics like Gender Care and Your GP in Edinburgh, and Gender GP, which is the online one, just kind of asking them what the process was, trying to get an appointment. And basically I couldn't get an appointment with Gender Care because Dr. Lorimer and the other doctors were all fully booked up, so they weren't even taking on any new patients. I knew at that point that my main priority was to get top surgery, so I started doing some research early into which surgeon I wanted to use. So Mr. Yellen's office told me that they didn't accept referrals from Gender GP, which is the online clinic. So I was like, okay, my only other option is to go up to Edinburgh to go to Your GP. So I made an appointment with Dr. Mishkov, and it was for 2 weeks afterwards, which was really quick. Flew up there, so I live in London. I flew up there for the day, literally got there, went to my appointment, went to an art gallery, and then flew back that night. But Dr. Mishkov gave me a referral for surgery after that first hour-long appointment, which was really cool. I was super surprised. I thought it was going to take 3 times of going up to Edinburgh. So yeah, and then basically her office sent a referral letter to Mr. Yellen, and I think it really helped that I'd already done all the research about which surgeon I wanted to use, because I could tell her in that appointment that that's the surgeon I want to use, that's who I want you to write to when you do the referral. So I went up to Edinburgh on June the 20th, 2018, and then in July I was offered a first consultation with Mr. Yelland, first surgery consultation, just to go and meet him. About a week after my consultation, they offered me an appointment for my surgery in September, because they were booking out a couple 2 months after consultation at that point. But I was actually in Australia for all of September with work, so I couldn't get my surgery done. So I was okay, cool, I'm gonna wait a little while and at least I know it's going ahead. So from that consultation I then booked my surgery date for November. So I could have had it sooner, but just with timings with work and making sure I had enough time off for recovery and had the right environment for surgery. So in November on the 14th, actually I went down to Torquay on the 13th. My sister drove me down there. We stayed over the night before. I was in the hospital at 7 a.m. the next day, and then I was the first chest reconstruction that he did that day, luckily. So I was in surgery by 8:10. They got me straight through. They get you gowned up and everything, and then yeah, that's it. And then surgery's done. You stay in overnight, and then the next day my sister drove me back to London, and then yeah, I had 3 weeks of recovery basically. And now I'm super happy, got a flat chest. I didn't want testosterone at the time. Then after my surgery I realised that I did. The way that I've got my testosterone is through Gender GP, who are the online clinic, and yeah, it's been about 2 months it's taken. Basically, they send you like 3 sets of questions, then you have to go and see one of the doctors. So I went to see Sally Coles in Birmingham for like a face-to-face appointment. Then you get they call it like an information gathering session, which is a phone call, which is about an hour long. So after you've done those, they do blood tests, which my GP was up for doing. And then, yeah, once your blood tests are all cleared, you basically get the prescription, which is great. It was a really easy process. They're really good at replying, so they replied like a day or 2 days after I'd emailed them, which is really great. So I got my prescription confirmed on Friday. That meant that I could buy the gel online, and then it's like next day delivery. So today is officially the first day 1 of T. I should mention, to start with, I'm only doing 1 pump a day, which is I think 20.5 milligrams, if that's the right thing. But yeah, so that's it really. That was really long. I'm gonna try and do a film like this probably every month, or every few weeks, just so you can see and I can see like the difference, especially in my voice, because that's probably going to change quite a lot, even though it already sounds quite low. I woke up with a bit of a cold today, so it's funny that like the first day on T is a day when my voice is, well, yeah, quite low. Anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't really know how fast this is going to work. I don't really know what side effects I'm going to get, but we'll see. If you have any questions or you want to know anything else, just write a comment or do like a little DM thing. People do this in videos. I watch so much YouTube, like it's quite ridiculous. Me and my girlfriend are a bit like obsessed with YouTube, but I've never done like videos before. So yeah, I'm super new to this, and as much as like I want to share the journey with you people, it's kind of really important for me as well to have like a visual documentation of my transition. It'll be interesting to look back on this in like a year or like 2 years or 10 years, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it. Sorry if this was really long. I'm going to try and edit it down so it's not. Yeah, cool. Bye guys.